This post on X went absolutely viral for exposing just how fucked the dating market is in New York. The post says, "Breaking. The New York Times found dating for women in New York City is so brutal that some dating events are charging women $100 and men $0, and the attendance ratio is still 3-to-1 women to men." It was posted by an account called Short Squeeze, and it got over 11 million views in less than 24 hours. The post is linked below in the description. Now, why is this happening? Well, men in general just aren't going out and approaching women anymore, and to be honest, it's women's fault. Feminism told men that women don't want to be approached on a night out. And now, every time a man actually does go and express interest in a woman, he gets blasted and humiliated on social media. So men altogether kind of just stopped approaching women because it's not worth it anymore. So most people try their luck at dating apps, but realize that having all the options in the world really means having no options at all. And men are now just deleting the dating apps altogether because we've realized just how fucked the dating apps are and how the algorithm is rigged against men. Now, put all of this together and it's really created a dating crisis, and women are feeling it too. We will go through the comments on the post shortly, but I've seen a lot of men celebrating this and basically saying, "Keep it up. We're finally winning, fellas." But honestly, I don't think this is really something that we should be celebrating. The sentiment is that women are finally getting what they deserve. After years of being extremely hypergamous and looking down on men, they are finally getting hit with reality, and now men have all the power. And listen, maybe it is a little satisfying, right? But when men and women hate each other, nobody wins. And plus, it's not like these women are just gonna automatically be like, "You know what? Maybe my standards are a bit too high. Maybe I'm not actually a 10 out of 10, because that would be far too reasonable, right?" All this does is make life even better for the top 20% of men. This comment right here sums it up perfectly. The dirty secret of today's sexual marketplace is that men with good looks and game are having a field day. They have their choice of great women who cannot demand commitment from them. The sexual revolution has made women all go for the same top 20% of men. And if you are in the top 20% of men, it's truly a golden age. Now, this is absolutely true. If you are in the top 20% of men, life has never been easier when it comes to dating. And this is exaggerated significantly in a city like New York. Where I live, I almost never get approached by women. For most guys, it's the same way. Women don't typically approach men. But the past 3 times I have visited New York City and gone out with friends, every single night I went out, I had at least 2 women come up and approach me and express interest in me. Now, these women weren't necessarily the belle of the ball, but I started to realize that something is seriously wrong with the New York dating scene if women are coming up and approaching men. So really, what is happening now is that 100% of the women are now competing for the top 20% of men. So really, the obvious thing to do is to become one of the top 20% of men. And really, anybody can achieve that. And we'll talk about that more later in this video. So we're going to go through some of the other comments now. Here's a comment by Murray Hill Guy. "Any female who attended this event was below a 5 out of 10, guaranteed." So yeah, that's one thing that's not talked about in this event. It's that hot girls aren't going to these events. It's usually average or below average women, and guys just aren't interested in going to this type of event. This comment says, "The average lady looking for a date in those events," and it's just the Sydney Sweeney interviewer meme. "You're not going to these events and finding women that look like Sydney Sweeney. It's more in line with this." This commenter said, "There isn't enough money in the world to get me to listen to some retarded liberal girl from New York talk for an hour. She could be the most beautiful woman to ever live, and the second she opened her mouth, she might as well have been Big Mike Obama." So obviously this is a brutal, maybe negative comment, but if you're in New York, I'm sure you do have to deal with the Mamdani girls, which at this point, no guy really wants to deal with, and fair enough. We got to find girls who are apolitical, boys. That is the move. So this comment right here, I just thought it was really funny. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the video, but it's funny. This comment says, "Because they all look more like this," right? Obviously, the original photo was AI rendered. The girls at the event did not look like that. This is probably what we're working with at events like these. Hot girls, again, do not go to dating events like that. And then this final comment here says, "The men they're looking for aren't interested in women like them anymore. Remember, the demographic paying $100 to get into those events just elected Mamdani." And then it shows the graph of the different political disparity amongst men and women. It's showing that women are radically becoming more liberal and men are just becoming slightly more conservative, which is completely different from the mainstream narrative. because the mainstream narrative is wrong. Women have become far more radicalized than men have ever been. And it is a real problem, and it's causing a mass disparity in the dating market because men are now saying, I don't want to date these women. And these women are so far woke left that they won't date a right-wing guy. They won't even date a moderate guy. They have to find somebody that has their exact views on every single issue, which obviously doesn't exist because they're crazy. So like I said, these dating events are not filled with the most desirable women. Hot girls just are not going to these type of events. And obviously guys aren't going to these events either. So how should you meet women? Well, if you haven't seen my previous video about how cooked Hinge is, I'll link that video, but men have to continue to delete Hinge. It's completely unfair and it's rigged against men, making it so that the average guy does not stand a chance and is completely invisible on these apps. The move is not to find girls online. The only real way to meet a woman is how it's always been, in person, by going up and approaching that woman that you find attractive. And guys just aren't doing this anymore, which actually creates a huge opportunity for the guys who are willing to put themselves out there, who are willing to take that risk. And finally, like I said before, it's never been more important to be in the top 20% of men. Being an average guy is no longer a decent existence. It's no longer a reasonable existence. You can thank feminism for that one. The good news is that any man can make it into the top 20% of men if you just go to the gym and get in shape, take care of your skin and get a nice haircut, dress nicely and make some fucking money. Anybody, and I mean anybody, can do these things. And the more money you make, the easier it will all be. Let me know what you think about all of this. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.